Last name, right? Last name.
Yes.
We ready? Yes. Thank you. I can't see what's on that screen, so. Thanks. We're ready. Thank you.
One of the guys in custody was Rodney Uten. I think.
Yes.
Won't you state your first initial
Okay.
and your last name and spell your last name? Okay. Into that mic.
My first initial start with an M. My last name is Smith.
I'm Smith.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you tell the jurors how old you are?
I'm 23.
And can you tell the jurors, did you grow up in the Atlanta area?
Yes.
And where did you go to high school?
I went to Forest Hill and Maynard.
Okay. And back in February of 2019, can you tell the jurors where you were working?
McDonald's on Moreland.
Okay. And what were your hours or the shift that you typically worked?
3 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Okay. And I want to ask you a few questions about people you may know or may have known back in February of 2019, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell the jurors, do you know someone by the name of Miss Tahira Hartfield?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how do you know her?
I grew up with her. I went to school with her. She was a friend back then.
Okay. And are you guys the same age?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And you said you grew up with her, you went to school with her. How many years would you say that you knew her?
From like the 5th grade to probably up to that time.
Okay. So 5th grade up until at least February of 2019?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta say yes for the record?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors, did you call her by her first name or did she have a nickname?
I mean, she had a nickname, but I call her by both.
Okay. Can you tell the jurors the times that you called her by her nickname, what was it?
Brazy.
Okay.
But I rarely called her that because I don't know her by that.
Okay. Did other people, when you guys were hanging out with your other friends, call her by that nickname?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, did you have an Instagram back in 2019?
Yes, I did.
And did Miss Hartsfield, did she have one?
Yes.
Okay. And were you friends with her on Instagram? Were you familiar with her Instagram account?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to show you. I'm sorry about that. I want you to look at States Exhibit 21 and 22 okay?
Yes.
And by looking at those, can you tell me, do you recognize what's depicted in States Exhibits 21 and 22
Yes.
Okay, and let's talk about first 21 what is States Exhibit 21 a picture of?
Tahira Hartfield.
Okay, and is that her Instagram account that she had back in February of 2019?
Yes, sir.
And in 22 can you tell the jurors, do you recognize that one?
Yes.
And how do you recognize the picture in 22
This me.
It's you?
Yes.
And is it your Instagram account back in February of 2019?
Yes.
Okay, and does both 21 and 22 represent the Instagram account for your friend Miss Hartsfield as well as yourself back in February of 2019.
Yes.
At this time, out of the state would tender what's been marked as States Exhibits 21NN and 22NN.
M or N?
N, I'm sorry.
All right, Nancy. Those are admitted.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors, back in February of 2019, did you know anyone by the nickname Little Rod?
Yes.
Okay, tell the jurors, how did you know Little Rod?
I met him through Tahir.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors, do you know Little Rod's real name?
No.
Okay, did you always call him Little Rod?
Yeah.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors, did you know somebody by the nickname of Bally?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors, how did you know the male whose nickname was Bally?
I was introduced by Tahir through both of them. I met them through her.
Okay, and do you remember, if we're talking about in relation to the shooting in February of 2019, how long, I guess, had you known the males with the nickname Bally and Little Rod?
I had just met them within that same month.
Within that same month?
Yes.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors, the male that you knew as the nickname Bally, did you know his real name?
Damone. But I'm like learned it from the stuff
Okay.
that's going on now. Yeah.
Okay, so did you know his last name back in 2019?
No.
Okay, so you just knew him by his nickname as Bally.
Yeah. I met them through her, so I didn't know them personally.
Okay, and you said you met him in the same month. Can you tell the jurors within that month how many times had you hung out with Bally and Lil Rod?
I mean, that first day I seen them, from that day, like the second day, we was going over there to Blalock them house every night. Like, it was never a dull moment. Like, we was having fun. So when that situation occurred, it was just like, came out of nowhere.
Okay, and you said you would go to whose house and hang out and have fun
Blalock.
and chill?
Blalock.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors how many times do you think that you went to Blalock's or
I'm not
Bally's
sure.
house?
I'm not sure.
Okay, more than once?
Yeah, it was more than one.
Okay, and did you ever have an opportunity to go to the person you knew by the name of Lil Rod?
I mean, we all just used to be right there at Blalock house.
Okay, and do you remember, I know it's been some time, where or what general area that Blalock's house was?
I just knew it was on Cleveland. I'm not familiar with over there because I don't hang over there. I just went to school over there. I was introduced to over there by them. I don't hang over there. I don't know nothing about Cleveland for real.
Okay, and you said off of Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in the times that you spent with Lil Rod and Bally, can you tell the jurors in your interactions with them, did you, did they tell you they were in a gang?
I mean, I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you remember the detectives after this incident asking you if you knew if Lil Rod and Bally were in a gang?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you remember telling the detectives that both Lil Rod and Bally were members of the YSL gang?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's talk about some other people that you may have known back in 2019. Did you know a male named BJ?
Yeah.
Okay, did you know his real name?
Bernard.
Okay, and how did you meet Bernard, or the person whose nickname was BJ?
I was long time friends with him. Like, he used to come over my house and stuff. We grew up in the same neighborhood.
Okay, was he friends with Miss Brazy?
I mean, I really don't know. I could just only speak for me, but we all was around each other one time, yeah.
Okay, so I guess a better question is, did you and Miss Brazy and Mr. BJ, did you guys all hang out fairly often?
She didn't used to be with us, but when I used to hang with him, like, I used to see him in apartments and stuff like that. It was like a hay and buy situation.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors, back on February 23rd of 2019, did you work that day, on the night of the shooting?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you work your regular shift, or the hours that you talked about today, 3 to 11 p.m.?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors, after your shift at McDonald's was over, what did you do next?
I went home, took a shower, and I was there like really the whole house was asleep. My mom, she was up and out. Like my sister, she was downstairs asleep. Everybody kept really telling me not to go out the door and go out the house with her that night. But me, I just wanted to be hard-headed, go with my friend, have fun. I went with my friend, and that's what went down.
Okay. And when you say go out of the house with her, who are you referring to?
I was with her, and we got in the car with Leroy,
So who's her?
Brazy, Tyra.
And so when you got home from work, was Brazy already at your house?
Yeah,
Okay. Can you tell the jurors why was she at your house?
because she was homeless, and she was already like asking me could she stay there and stuff. But my mom had already been telling me like she had to go prior to that because I guess she was doing stuff or giving them little signs when I was at work about what was going to go on and stuff like that. So my mom told me she had to go, but she was staying with me.
Okay. And you said you guys were leaving the house. Who picked you up?
Leroy.
And can you tell the jurors, if you got off from work around 11, you went home, what time would you say you left your house that you live with your mom and Miss Brazy
I
was
can't
staying?
really remember what time we left.
Okay. Do you think you, after you got home from work, that you were home for an hour or 2 hours or longer?
Probably like an hour or two.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, do you remember what kind of car Lil Rob picked you up in?
Yes, it was a van.
It was a van?
Yes.
Remember what color?
No, I don't.
Okay. And I should have asked you this earlier, so I apologize. The people you're referring to as Little Rod and Bally, were they, do you know if they were around your same age?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Did you go to school with either one of them?
I'm not sure. I was introduced to them by her. Like, I didn't know them like that.
Okay. When you say her, who are you referring to?
Tahira.
Okay. Now, after Lil Rod picked you guys up, can you tell the jurors, where did you go next?
I can't really remember.
Okay. What was the plans that night after you were leaving your mom's house?
I know, okay, we pulled up to Bally House. We got out the car. We went in the house and stuff like that. We in the house. I was talking to Blalock then. Boom. After that, went downstairs, played the game. I dozed off. In the midst of me dozed off, I hear Tahira on the phone saying, pull up, we finna do one. Do one mean fuck.
Okay.
Sustain.
Let's not tell me what anybody said. So you talk faster than any of us in the courtroom, okay? So let's just back up just a second. So you keep saying Blalock and Bally. Is that the same person?
No.
Okay. So
Yes, it is, yes.
okay. So the person you know is Bally is his real name or the name he was given at birth. His last name Blalock. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now you said that y'all went from your house when Little Rob picked you up. You went to Bally's house. Is that what you said? Yes.
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors, do you remember, I guess, where the general area where Mr. Bally's house was?
I just knew it was some apartments. I don't remember, but I kind of do. Like, if I go there, I remember, but I don't really remember.
Okay. Can you tell the jurors, do you know or do you remember, you talked earlier about where you knew that Little Rod's house where he lived was off Cleveland. Do you know if the apartments you just described where Bally lived was close to the Cleveland house that you described where Little Rod lives?
Yeah, they stay across the street from each other.
Okay. Now, when you got to Bally's house, was it still just you, Miss Brazy, Lil Rod, and Bally? Was anybody else there?
I'm not sure. I just know it was us four, though.
Okay. And you said once you got there, you dozed off?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah, I went to sleep, and after that, I heard like
Well,
I hear her.
don't tell me what anyone said. You,
I heard her in the background. Boom. After that, I heard what she said. I got up. In the midst of me getting up, Blalock attacked me. I went out the door. I see a Dodge blue Charger pulling up. Next thing you know, I went to the car because BJ rolled down his window, and he was like, "Mariah, where they at?"
Just said her
He
name.
was asking me where somebody was. Boom. After that, me and him was talking about going to do like get some weed or whatever. Boom. After that,
hold on one second. Ms. Smith. So
yes.
you said there was a conversation. Was Miss Breezy, was she talking to somebody in the room or was she talking on the phone?
She was never outside with me.
No.
When I went out the door.
When you
Oh, she was over the phone. Yes, she was over the phone.
conversation that woke you up was with Miss Breezy on the phone with was it a male or a female?
I'm not really sure. I don't know.
And you said then you went outside and there was a blue Charger. You gotta say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. And when you got outside, did you know anyone did you know a blue Charger was going to pull up?
No, I didn't.
Okay. And when you got outside and the blue Charger was there, did you recognize anyone inside the Charger?
Only BJ.
Okay. And was it just BJ in the car, or were there other people in the car?
It was 2 other people in the car, but I didn't know them.
Okay.
Never seen them.
Okay. Was this the first time you met him? Yes?
Yes.
And do you ever get into the car?
Yeah.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors, once you got into the car, did you get introduced to, you said there was 2 other people in the car? Yes?
I mean, I can't really remember. I don't know. I just know we was all in the car.
Okay.
And we drove to the other side.
Was BJ driving? Was he in the passenger seat?
BJ was driving.
Okay, and do you know who was in the front seat when you got in?
And Jamari.
Okay, and who was seated in the back seat with you?
Breezy was by the door. I was in the middle, and little boy Red was on the other side.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So you said that you went outside and you met BJ and the people you met that night as Jamari and Red. Can you tell the jurors, when does Breezy enter into the picture? When does she come outside?
She came outside when I got in the car.
Okay, and did she also get into the car?
Yes, she did.
Okay, where in the car did she sit?
She sat by the door. I was in the middle.
Okay, so was she in the back with you?
Yes.
Okay, and so can you tell the jurors when everyone's in the car, where are you guys going next?
I guess we was going to get weed.
Okay.
After that, we pulled over there, whatever she led them to, some apartments I never been in. I'm sitting in the car for a little minute. Next thing you know, she get out the car. She leaves. She come back and get me as soon as I got the car.
Hold on, before we get there. So how far did you go from where BJ in the blue Charger picked you up and took you to buy some weed? How far was that trip?
I mean, it was across the street, literally across the street.
And I think I heard you say.
So I saw My Pet Goldfish 101 saying they're heading out, going to bed because it's a different time zone where they are. Thank you so much for your kind words today. My Pet Goldfish had said, I want to thank you and the mods. Amazing job, which is super nice. So thank you for that. And I wanted to make sure I got to that before you head out. And also shout out to the mods. Thank you all so much. Mod love all the time. So My Pet Goldfish, if you are heading out, have a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today and for your kind words.
That Ms. Breezy directed BJ where to go? Yes?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And when you guys got there, do you remember inside the car, did you or anybody else give anyone any money to purchase marijuana?
No.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay. And so once you get there, can you tell the jurors, do you all go inside to an apartment or?
No, she get out the car first. Then next thing you know, she come back and get me out the car, and the car just got shot up all of a sudden. But when we get out the car and we started running, I seen Blalock and Leroy running towards the car, like literally shooting the car. I saw them.
Okay. And had you ever been You said this was an apartment complex. Had you ever been there before?
Never.
Okay. And I want to show you what's been marked. That's States Exhibit 10, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy, through 19, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy. All right, let's start with States Exhibits 10, 11, and 12, and N, okay? Do you recognize those?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how do you recognize them?
Cause this were right here on this thing. I can't really.
Well,
know.
don't show us.
Okay.
Do you,
You can
Have you-
show it to Mr. Abbasi who's questioning you, just don't show it to the jury.
Yes, ma'am. I remember this right here because this where we was parked at. This the Breezeway I ran down to go in the back with Tahira. We was in the bushes hiding right here until Lorette came to get us. She led us through a cut. We got in the car with him. They took me back to Blalock house.
let me ask you this question. In States Exhibits 10, N through 13, N, do those pictures fairly and accurately depict the apartment complex that you've described where you guys stopped to buy marijuana?
Yes.
Okay, and at this time around, the state would tender what's been marked as States Exhibits 10 through 13, N, and
Those
M.
are admitted.
Okay, now I want to show you States Exhibits 13, 14, and 15, and can you tell me, do you recognize what's depicted in those photographs?
Yes.
Okay, and how do you recognize the photographs in States Exhibits?
This the car that we was in that pulled up.
Okay, and is that vehicle, or that's depicted in States Exhibits 14 through 16 and fairly and accurately depict the blue Charger that picked you up that night?
Yes.
This time around, the state would tender what's been marked as States Exhibits 14 NN through 16 NN.
Those are admitted.
Do they have the wrong ones? Yeah, it looks like, because they went through these, like, a bunch of them to see what was coming in or not. Seems like they got messed up. Shout out to Excited Utterance, realized she wasn't a member anymore. Became green again. And I think I was looking. We should be, when this is all done, redirecting over, if you guys are trying to catch up with the Sarah Boone trial. Excited Utterance on her channel has been covering that starting around 6 p.m. every day Eastern, which is really good. It lines up nicely with this trial ending. So if you're trying to watch both, Excited Utterance is the person to watch it with. I don't know which way I face.
Okay, so do you
For you guys.
recognize and the vehicle depicted in States Exhibits 13, 14, and 15 NN fairly and accurately depict the Charger that picked you up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This time around, the state would tender what's been marked as States Exhibits 13 through 15 NN.
14 through 16 or 13 through 15?
I misspoke. It is,
All right, those
it's-
are admitted. 14 through 16, right?
it's 13 through 15. I apologize.
Okay, so what was, I thought it was 10 through 13 the first time around. Was it only 10 through 12?
I apologize. I
That's
got
okay.
confused this late now. It's so 10 through 12 NN
Okay.
are the maps,
All right,
and then the car is 13 through 15.
okay, those are all admitted.
Okay, so I want to put up on the screen in front of you here in a second, States Exhibit 10 NN, okay?
Okay.
And it's gonna pop up right in the computer right in front of you, okay?
Mhm.
While that's being put up, Ms. Smith, could you tell me, so you said you guys parked, the car parked?
Mhm.
Yes? Gotta say yes for the record.
Yes.
And how long was Ms. Brazy, how long was she gone from the car when she left to go to the apartment?
I'm not really sure.
Okay, was it a few minutes? Was it an hour?
Probably like a couple of minutes.
Okay, and you said she came back?
Mhm.
And can you tell the jurors, when she came back, why did she come back?
When she came back, she got me out the car. As soon as I got the car got shot up.
Okay, and while they are pulling that up on the screen, I want to show you State Exhibit 17, 18, and 19. All right, so while that's getting put up there, can you tell me, do you recognize the photographs in State Exhibit 17 and through 19? And can you tell the jurors, how do you recognize those photographs?
Cause that's the Breezeway we ran down.
Okay, do those exhibits, the photographs in State Exhibit 17 and through 19 and fairly and accurately depict, I guess, the apartment complex and the, bless you, the Breezeway that you said that you guys ran after the shooting started?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would tender what's been marked as 17 NN through 19 NN.
Those are admitted.
All right. Okay. So can you show the jurors, do you see the red line that's in the middle of State's Exhibit 10 NN?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And you see where it starts near the parking spaces?
Yes.
Can you tell the jurors, is that where the car parked, the Charger that you guys were in when you arrived?
I'm not sure what spot, but it was somewhere right there.
Okay, was it in that general area?
Yes.
Okay, and you talked about, I guess, after the shooting started, you saw Little Rod and Bally, I guess, come running at the car, shooting at the car, right?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes.
Can you kind of show the jurors the area which you saw them come running towards the vehicle with guns?
I mean, I really don't remember when I ran through the Breezeway. I just knew I seen them.
Okay.
Like, I don't remember.
And in 18 and can you tell the jurors, is this the Breezeway that you're talking about as soon as it comes up? Do you see the Breezeway?
Yes.
And is it the area in the middle of State's Exhibit 18 and where there's an opening with stairs?
Yes.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors, you said you ran through that Breezeway, and where did you go?
And some bushes with tire.
Okay, and the bushes, in relation to, I guess, the building that we're looking at, where you ran through the Breezeway, where is this, I guess, the area with the bushes in the field?
I mean, the bushes was right there, literally, in the back. Like, as soon as we ran through the Breezeway, the bushes was right there. It was a field in the bushes.
And in State Exhibit 10 and N, which will be in front of you in 2 seconds, can you kind of show the jurors?
skip through all of them.
Orient them, kind of where you ran through the Breezeway and past the buildings.
I mean, I'm assuming these the bushes right here.
Well, I don't want you to assume. So can you kind of circle the area or point to the area on the photograph?
You can't see it on the screen?
Oh, I forgot your screen isn't interactive. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna walk over here, okay? And I want you to tell me where to stop. So if this is the Breezeway and you ran through it,
The bushes right there.
these bushes? So the bushes at the top left-hand corner of State Exhibit 10NN?
Yes.
Okay. And did you go to those the bushes or the area where the bushes were by yourself?
No, I was with Tahir.
Okay.
I ran in the bushes with her.
And you said you ran towards those bushes because you heard and saw Lil Rod and Bally shooting at the Charger.
Correct.
Can you tell the jurors how many shots did you hear?
I'm not sure.
Okay, did you hear one shot, two shot?
Multiple.
Okay, more than 10?
I'm not sure. I just know I heard shots.
Okay. And how long did you guys kind of, I guess, wait or stay in the bushes?
Not for long. Like, after it happened, she led me through a cut with her, and we got in the car.
Okay. And prior to kind of going, I guess, through the cut into the car you just talked about, can you tell the jurors, as the shots are being fired at the Charger, who's inside of it?
BJ, Jamari, and Red.
Okay. And as the shots are kind of ringing out and being fired towards the car, can you tell the jurors, do you see the Charger that BJ, Jamari, and the person you knew as Red were in? Does it stay there or does it move?
It stopped. The car stopped, and only 2 people got out.
Okay. And when you say it stopped, how far did it get from the area you described where you guys had parked?
I'm not really sure. I just know I seen the car after.
Okay.
When we was in the bushes and stuff.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors when you saw the car after when you guys were in the bushes, do you see anybody get out of the car?
Only 2 people.
Okay. And do you, at the time the 2 people get out of the car, do you know who it is?
BJ and Red.
Okay. And
I didn't know at that time, but now I know.
okay. So at that time you only knew 2 people got out of the car.
I never knew who they was though.
Okay. And you said you guys were in the bushes for a little while, and then you said your friend, Miss Brazy, she led you through a cut? Yes?
Yes.
And how far, I guess, from the bushes, or how long does it take you to get from the bushes and through the cut to the car?
I'm not sure.
Okay, was it a long walk?
I mean, I really can't remember like that. It's been so long.
Okay. And once you said, how did the car know, I guess, where to pick you up?
I don't know. I was following her.
Okay. And who was driving the car?
Lil Rod.
Okay. And yours, was it the same car that Little Rod had picked you up in earlier that night from your house?
Yes.
Okay. And once you got in the car, who was in it?
Just Lil Rod, me, and Tahir. That's it.
Okay. And where did you, Lil Rod, Miss Brazy, and you, where did y'all go next?
They took me back to Blalock house.
Okay.
And we was there. They left, locked me in the basement, and went back to the scene.
Okay. And you said they locked you in a basement. Why did they lock you in the basement?
I don't know.
Okay. How long were they gone?
I mean, I'll say like 30 minutes at the most because the mom came in. She was screaming and stuff. It's like she knew what was going on. And she locked me back inside the basement. After that,
Whose mom?
Blalock.
Okay. And did you tell her what happened?
No.
Why not?
I mean, she was in a rage. She was looking for her son.
Okay. And did the time that you, I guess, are locked in the basement, did you have a phone?
Yes, I found like a little phone in there. I called my mom. I called her 2 times, but she never told me that no police was at her house right then. After that, I called my grandma. My grandma told me to call my mama back. I called my mama. My mama yelling and screaming, homicide at her door at this point. I tell my mom where I'm at. At this point, I'm scared. I really don't know what to do. I didn't tell them that I talked to my mom when they came back. They just kept telling me that we was going to the basketball court. They come back. I played like I ain't talked to nobody or nothing. We all get ready to go out the house. The police pull up. Everybody take out running except me.
Okay. Now, you said you found a phone in the basement to use. Did you have a phone that night? Your own phone?
No, I didn't have no phone. No.
Where was it?
I mean, I didn't have my particular phone on me. I don't even think I had a phone
Okay.
at that moment.
And when you got back to Valley's house, and before they leave you in the basement, is Valley and Little Rod, is there any conversation about what just happened?
Yeah, like they was getting calls from people. People was telling them about.
Speculation, hearsay.
Let me I'll ask a more direct question, okay? So, and I should ask you this first. So, when you guys get to Valley's house, is he already there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you three go back, I guess, you, Miss Brazy, and Lil Rod, you all go down to the basement. Is that where Valley is? Yes?
Mhm.
Okay, so I just want to ask you these direct questions. So what do you hear Little Rod and Valley discussing about what happened with the shooting?
I mean, I really don't know what to say because they keep saying objection every time I say something. So I really don't know.
All right, I get it.
You don't worry about what they say. Just stop, and then if he asks you another question, unless you hear objection again, go ahead and answer.
Okay.
So just tell me what Valley and Little Rod say. Don't tell me what anybody else said, okay?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I
Okay.
really don't know.
Do they say, well, let me ask you this. Are they talking about the shooting of the Charger?
Yes.
Okay, what do they say?
I mean, I just hear Blalock saying, "Oh man, I ain't know that was him." This and the third.
Okay, and does Little Rod say anything?
I'm not sure.
Okay, and as they continue to talk, would you say they're kind of bragging about the shooting?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And then how long, I guess you guys, let me back up. You said you're going, when they get back, you said you go to a basketball court?
We didn't never make it there
Okay. And why didn't you ever make it there?
because the police came.
Okay. And you said when the police came, everybody else ran?
Yes.
Okay. And do you go with the police
Yes.
anywhere from, I guess, the area where the basketball court is?
Yes, I went with them.
All right. And where do you go?
Down to homicide investigation.
Okay. And do you remember, do you speak with a Detective Hogan and a Detective Casey?
Yes.
Okay. And when you, I guess, are talking with Detective Hogan and Detective Casey, does your sister, I guess, come down to APD
Yes.
headquarters?
Yes, she did.
And when you first begin to talk with Detective Hogan and Detective Casey, is it just you and the two of them in the room?
I'm not really sure.
Okay. And tell me this, when you initially start, I guess, answering the questions that the detectives have for you, can you tell the jury, are you honest? Do you tell them the truth about what happened that night?
I mean, at first I was kind of shook up. I kind of lied a couple of times, but when my sister came in there, I felt more comfortable and told the truth.
Okay. And do you, I guess,
I hate when interviews happen with somebody else present that's anybody other than an attorney. You heard her? She said she lied a couple times because she was scared. But then her sister was sitting there with her and she got it straight and felt more comfortable.
kind of tell them a
And that's not uncommon.
series of stories and lies about what you knew happened with the shooting of Jamari?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And why do you tell them several different stories or different lies as they're questioning you?
Because I was scared.
Self-
Response.
Self-serving what?
That's
Overruled.
her up out of.
You can answer.
Paige isn't picking up what you
You can
guys are.
Could you ask me again?
So why don't you tell them the truth as they continue to ask you questions?
Because I was scared. I was feared. I never been in nothing like that. I don't even get in trouble. I don't even have a record. So,
What were you scared of?
I mean, life. Things go on.
Now, you said your sister, they let your sister eventually come in the room with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when she comes into the room, can you tell the jurors, I guess, why do you feel, or do you begin to tell them what you told the jury that you saw Bally and Lil Rod do to your friends inside the blue Charger?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what about your sister being in the room, I guess, makes you feel more comfortable to tell the truth?
Yes.
What about her being in the room?
I mean, I felt more comfortable
Okay. Why?
because that's my sister. She was there with me.
Okay. Now, do you remember during the speaking with the detectives, are you able to give them like the Instagram names or usernames for Little Rod and Bally?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to show you, do you look up Lil Rod's Instagram and give them pictures
Yes.
or show them pictures? Okay. Let's see. So I want to show you in States Exhibits 23NN and 24NN. Do you recognize those photographs?
Yes.
And how do you recognize those?
Because that's Lil Rod.
Okay, and are those the photos of Little Rod that you showed and sent to the detectives on February 23rd of 2019?
Yes.
And do those photographs fairly and accurately depict or are copies of the photos that you showed and gave both Detective Hogan and Detective Tracy?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would tender what's been marked as States Exhibits 23 and 24, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy.
Those are admitted.
All right, so I want to publish those photos. Now, in States Exhibit 23, is this how how Little Rod looked back in February of 2019?
Yes. I'm not sure if that's how he looked, but that was a picture of him.
Okay. And is that the same with States Exhibit 24, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy?
Yes.
Okay. And do you see in both of those photos, the person you've described as Little Rod is holding a gun?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors the guns that you see in either one of those photos, does it look similar to the gun that you saw Little Rod with on?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar what type of guns they had.
Okay.
Are they wrapping it up?
Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about, we just talked about the guns. Can you describe to the jurors, do you remember telling the detectives or describing for the detectives I guess, the type of guns or the size of the guns that you saw that night?
I'm not sure.
Okay, do you remember describing,
Sustained.
well, during that interview on February 23rd of 2019, do you remember describing, I guess, the length of one of the guns that you saw Little Rod with?
I'm not sure.
Okay, overruled.
You can answer.
You can answer.
I'm not sure.
Okay. When you say you're not sure, do you not remember?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you don't remember describing for Detective Hogan and Detective Tracy that you saw Little Rod with a long gun?
I probably did. It's been so long. I
Okay.
don't know. I'm not sure for real.
And do you remember specifically talking about the statements that you heard Little Rod and Bally saying after they got back to, or after y'all got to Bally's house? Do you remember telling the detectives about that?
I'm not sure.
Overruled.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Paige wants to go.
When you say you're not sure, do you not remember telling the specific statements that you heard Little Rod and Bally talking about at Bally's house to the detectives on February 23rd of 2019 during that interview?
I don't remember.
So do you don't remember telling Detective Hogan and Detective Tracy that you heard Little Rod say, "We really just popped them N-words"? Do you remember?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And then Bally, you heard Bally say, "Hell yeah, one."
I'd ask for a limiting instruction. This is not going B2E, this is spilling beans. I would object. Anything used against Mr. Wood.
I don't know what the full thing is going to be.
I mean, I don't object to I guess, the limiting instruction we've been giving as it relates to any statements previously made by any previous co-defendants.
I don't think that was exactly his objection. Y'all come up to the bench with us for me.
They're going to work out limiting instructions with spilling the beans. So she's probably about to say that either Lil Rod or Blalock spilled something to her. So there's probably, Steele's probably requesting some limiting instruction on, you know, you're about to hear what somebody said, but you are the determiner of the credibility of what is being relayed to you here. And also, good question, how are they allowed to say the statements if she says she doesn't remember? I don't know. They're not really like asking to refresh her recollection or anything. And she's saying she really doesn't. She's like insisting she doesn't remember. I have some, I'm confused about some of the storyline here, right? Like, she said Blalock attacked her at some point before she gets in the blue Charger. So I don't really, at first that sounded like inflammatory, like she was ready to spill all and just say, Rod did this, Blalock did this. And then later she was treating it like they kind of like rescued her and got her out of harm's way. So I don't know, I'll probably rewatch this when Nick Starro does his recap and try to make the order of events line up a little better, because I didn't watch like Lil Rod's trial for this actual murder charge. The reason that this is part of this indictment is because they're trying to say that that murder and then the attempted murder for the other two guys in the car, that they want this jury in this trial under this indictment to determine whether or not those things were an overt act, whether they were done in furtherance of whichever OCGA statute that is. I need to learn them. I need to memorize them. But conspiracy. But yeah, I'm like trying to, I'm trying to figure it out. There's a little bit that makes sense, and then there's parts that don't make sense. So and again, it could be a memory thing too. So we'll see. We'll see what they come up with this limiting instruction.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've already told you a couple of times that sometimes witness comes in, a testimony, evidence only comes in for a limited purpose or against only particular people, and this is another one of those circumstances. So you have just heard and are going to hear about statements by Blalock and defendant Ryan, and you may consider those statements only against defendant Ryan and only as to count one. You may not consider either of the statements from Blalock or Ryan as to any other count, and you may not consider them in any way in determining the guilt or innocence of any of the other defendants in this case besides Mr. Ryan is to count one. Okay. All right, let's get the witness back in.
So she's about to tell us what they allegedly said to her after all this. Oh, we're reapproaching.
We've done that beforehand, but yes.
Yeah. So the Honorable, love the name change here. Need a YSL J apt emoji to pair with Doug. I know we need a lot of emojis. They are kind of limited in how many I can have. Maybe a temporary one for J apt, because I think we have Doug back in the courtroom soon. You guys ask for like a ton of new emojis every day. We got to vote some emojis out. Gap Girl says she should be embarrassed. This was talking about the previous witness, Underwood. I think that was very damaging for the state. To be honest, I feel like they could have just done without trying to get any of that testimony in. Like, to be honest, do you think the jury really forgot the picture of Yak standing on the car? I would have made the strategic call, like, if we don't really know, maybe we don't need to call her, but I guess they wanted it for the record. But that was a whole time. Steven says, I'm committing a crime when I wax my car. You know, honestly, I thought she was about to go off about how wax means, like, to wax somebody. And she didn't. She was just talking about the, like, vinyl. So I was actually really relieved that it didn't go down that road. KRE Divinity says, ladies and gentlemen, Maximilian, middle name reports, Shart. And I really liked, that was pretty short. I thought it'd be longer from Shart, but I liked the way Shart did his cross-examination with Underwood. Like, go after the training. You're trained by yourself, essentially. You know, APD training, APD. It's circular. I thought he did really good with that. Closed out on a punchy note. So, and shout out, not only does Max ask about these reports, but man, every time Brian Steele gets to ask anybody, do you use technology at all? Do you know of anything that just deletes automatically in a lump sum format on its own at a certain date? Oh man, the two of them. Thank you so much for the super. Mike the Mob says, this is why you need to rely on evidence and not testimony. You'll have to walk a thin line. Now remember, testimony is technically evidence, but I get what you're saying. Like, things, actual tangible things that aren't just words out of somebody's mouth. We need other stuff that can at least corroborate. And a lot of this stuff we heard from Underwood, and then with Dennis, and then with Gaither, and even with Thorpe. Like, the best corroboration we have is somebody also happened to drive a Tahoe. Well, that doesn't really corroborate much when you also argue that the song mentions 12, and 12 can also drive Tahoes. So, a little bit more stuff to corroborate what your theory is would be great. Otherwise, your testimony isn't really great evidence. So, thank you so much for the 5. Deliterate D for deliterate, says, the state is really showing their fanny. Thank you for the opportunity to pronounce it as Fanny. If Nick Staro's in the chat, one of my favorite things, you know, he's in Sweden. I guess the word fanny means butt in the United States, like rear end in the United States, but in Europe, fanny means the front part of a woman. So that's one thing I always thought was really interesting about how words have different meanings. So thank you here for the super. David Raposa, thanks for becoming a slime. Stephen T. Satchel says, lurking while preparing my ballot. Now, guys, if you want to avoid any hiccups, you think you might not be available to vote and you plan on voting, I'm hearing a lot of states are already, you can go vote. You can get it out of the way. So, and you might be mailing it if you're preparing it at home. But still, in any case, early voting is opening in a lot of places. I know a lot of people also like to vote on election day itself. But great reminder. And don't forget, Judge Whitaker reminded us, she told the jury, she said, I just want to let you know that early voting has started in Georgia. You guys can go vote. So don't have any excuses for me. Don't be late on November 5th. We're running this court. We're going to be here. We're going to have a full trial day. So keep that in mind. Also, big shout out to Excited Utterance. Before we had this long testimony, and I've been locked in trying to understand, she also gifted 5 memberships.
So
super,
I just
super nice.
referenced- Sorry, are you ready? I just referenced statements by Blalock and Defendant Ryan, and what the court means to say is that according to this witness, statements were made, the court's not making any kind of finding or comment or determination whether the statements were in fact made, whether they exist or not. Okay, obviously it's up for you to determine all of the evidence in the case. So, okay.
That's a big correction, because when a judge says something, you don't really challenge too much of what a judge says. If they tell you something like, well, now the witness is going to tell you what really happened, that sounds like the judge is vouching for something. And here, we're about to hear alleged statements, spilling the beans, of Blalock and Rodalius Ryan to this witness that's on the stand. She's relaying. So this is a great clarification and very sharp of his counsel. Hold on, we got to approach. Well, I wish you'd done that earlier. No, this is a problem you need to take the time to correct, Whitaker.
Back with the witness. All right, go ahead, Mr. Abadi.
You guys had pointed out in the chat, and I had thought it on my own, and I wasn't going to say it out loud because I don't know, but this is the second time we're hearing it when they bring the witness back, and I don't really hear that when they walk other witnesses back and forth. So are you guys hearing metal? Like maybe it's jewelry on her? My brain is kind of curious why we're hearing that kind of jangle there.
Thank you, Judge. Now, Ms. Smith, we think we left off. Do you remember talking to and telling the detectives that you had then heard Bally, or the person you call Bally or Blalock, say, hell yeah, one of them N-words dead twin?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I want to show you State's Exhibit 20, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy. And do you recognize the photograph depicted in 20 NN?
Yes.
And how do you recognize that photo?
That was a little boy that was shot in the car.
Okay. And does it fairly and accurately depict the person you met that night is Jamari in that photograph?
Yes.
Your Honor, the State Pretender, what's been marked as State's Exhibit, what did I say, 22 NN? 20 NN, I'm sorry.
20 NN, it's admitted.
Now, Ms. Smith, can you tell the jurors, did you set up BJ, Jamari, and Red to be shot that night?
No.
Okay. Did you know that Bally and Little Rod were going to come running out, shooting at the Charger with BJ, Jamari, and Red?
No.
After all of this happened, Ms. Smith, can you tell the jurors Did you fear for your life after this?
Yeah,
Okay, tell me why.
because my mama's house got shot up multiple times. I was working, I was receiving threats. People went to my sister's job. It was just a lot of stuff that happened pertaining to this situation.
Thank you, Mrs. Allen.
All right, are there any defense questions for this witness?